Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. The President Muhammadu Buhari have actually made speeches when it comes to United Nations General Assembly. Some said he went cap in hand, begging for debt cancellation and all that. But lawmakers are getting very vexed over so many things. In fact, he practically said a lot of things he said on in his speeches are not true. They're blatant lies, and they have their reasons. They mentioned them, and coming from the fact that it's coming from the city senators, then it clearly shows that Nigeria is in for it. Some persons are saying they're taking the propaganda from national level to international level. In a moment, you're going to find out exactly what they're saying and why they said the president actually lied in some of his speeches. We like you subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, the minority caucus of the House of Representatives has fled the address presented by President Muhammadu Buhari at the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly (UNGA), saying it didn't reflect the realities on the ground in the country. In a statement by the minority leader of the House, Honorable Ndudi Elumelu, the caucus said after reviewing Buhari's speech, it became obvious that the president's outing was a disservice to the nation. According to Elumelu, contrary to the president's claim that Boko Haram has been weakened, the deadly set has become emboldened in its attack on our military formation. The caucus added that insecurity, killings, kidnapping, amongst other social vices, have persisted in the country. The statement read thus: the caucus is distressed over claims in President Buhari's address, which are in complete disagreement with the ugly reality of the failures of his administration, as well as the economic, security, and social ruins that have confronted the nation under his watch. Our caucus holds that President Buhari's speech is a great disservice to our nation by not presenting the true picture of affairs in our country, the human rights violations, the corruptions, and incompetence in this administration, the excruciating hardship, the escalated insecurity, national divisiveness, and infrastructural decay under his watch, thereby blocking avenues for desired intervention in our various ailing sectors. The minority caucus was alarmed by President Buhari's report to UNGA that terrorists have been so weakened in Nigeria that they are now preying on soft targets, when in reality insurgents have become so emboldened under his watch that they are now attacking military formations, kidnapping and killing our gallant officers while overrunning communities and murdering our citizens without restraint. As representatives of the people, the minority caucus is depressed that President Buhari's speech did not reflect on the kidnapping and killings of students and school children in Nigeria. The speech did not reflect on the closure of schools and crippling of education in many parts of our country, where normal life had been destroyed by terrorists. Neither did it show any empathy towards the victim of terrorism attacks. Our caucus is worried that in reflection of conflict, Mr. President's address conveyed no personal commitment that can guarantee an end to poor and undemocratic governance. Human rights abuses, poverty, ignorance, injustice, and inequalities that are prevalent under his watch, even after identifying such as causes of conflict. Also, the minority caucus is shocked by the claims in Mr. President's speech that his administration built isolation centers and emergency hospital wards all over the country in record time in the fight against the pandemic, a claim that is in conflict with the infrastructural reality in the country. Moreover, our caucus is worried that Mr. President's speech did not portray any decisive roadmap towards economic recovery and food security, had no personal commitment to end corruption in his administration, and had no personal commitment to end borrowing or show a clear-cut plan to repay the huge debt being accumulated by his administration. The speech also lacked definite personal commitment towards credible electoral process, especially as the nation approaches 2023 general elections. The minority caucus, after due consideration, urges the president President Buhari to always cross-check the content given to him by his handlers so as to ensure that his position, especially on the world stage, captures the reality as well as the aspiration of prevalent in the country. This is because such addresses ought to serve as an unblemished working document for interventions and solutions at various levels of governance. This is quite deep. This is quite deep. You can imagine the PDP guys, the politicians are not resting their onions. But then some persons are saying that this is propaganda taking international level. Let's look at this critically. One thing is certain. It is definitely not the president that wrote that speech. There are people who write speeches. The question is, did they take into cognizance some of these statements being mentioned? One, two, do you honestly expect, except for those who are very passionate about the countries they rule, but do you honestly expect the president to go and tell the whole world in a world conference that actually under his watch that insecurity has become something that is a terrible phenomenon? That under his watch people are looting? That under his watch the corruption level has skyrocketed? Come on. Now that is you are not a very correct politician. Everybody, even when you go for job interview and they ask you what's your weak point or your weaknesses, you don't begin to pump out and say actually I sleep in the daytime or actually I'm a lazy person. No one does such. Of course you say, well, being a proactive person, you want to even paint the weakness as a strength. That's exactly what the president just did. Even though it is a prevailing issue, which is not only normal, which is not the which Nigeria is not the only country facing it. You don't expect him to begin to rub his hands over the weaknesses, except you don't want to be truthful to yourself. So he just, being the politician that he is, he did it. Even PDP, given the same platform, they will do same. It's not like they overlove Nigerians, but looking at it critically, Nigeria needs intervention. They need help. They need solutions. They need backup. They need any help they can get. Okay, saying that they have weakened Boko Haram, how true is that? Judging from the harsh reality facing us, maybe so that you don't appear to be saying untrue words or things that are actually not the same on the ground. Based, the best thing to do would have been just a case of avoiding some of those things. Now, if you're going to avoid it, then how would you go telling them to have the debt cancelled, as let there be debt cancellation or some of the it can be easier to tell someone to cancel debt if your administration was not the one that borrowed it. It would have been a case of, I inherited this debt and it's overwhelming, we are yet to recover it, please can you help us cancel it? But this is a case of your administration did majority of the borrowing and you're expecting the government of the day or the world leaders to cancel it. Come on. Well, miracles do happen. Who knows? Maybe there's something on the pipeline. That's what go wrap it up.